So you want to heal your gastritis, but you don't know what to eat? I got you. I don't believe in long-term restriction. I don't think it's effective. I actually think it's damaging because it can cause some issues with your gut microbiome down the road. But I do believe it's important to be pretty restrictive with your diet at the beginning for 1 to 2 months just to calm the inflammation and make sure you're not eating anything that's creating more inflammation. Here are some of my favorite things to eat when I was just starting to heal my gastritis. For breakfast, I would usually have some form of oatmeal, just like half a cup of oats with a little bit of nut butter and berries. Keep it very, very simple. If oats is a little too heavy on your stomach, which it can be for some people, try a chia pudding, just with chia seeds and plant-based milk, and also a little bit of berries and nut butter. The toppings for all my breakfasts kind of rotate. Smoothies are a really good option. Bananas, a little bit of dates to sweeten it. You can add spinach, carrots. Melon is another really easy to digest fruit. I like throwing in some protein powder. It's not necessary, and you want to be careful with protein powders because they can have a lot of additives, but vegan protein powder if you can find a very simple one. For lunch and dinner, I utilized a lot of gluten-free pastas because I'm a pasta girly, so I did that just because gluten can be harder to digest. Even if you're not gluten intolerant, avoid gluten for the first month or two. I ate a lot of white rice, plain chicken breast, not plain, but just not heavily seasoned, although there are a bunch of seasonings that are really safe to use for gastritis. Thyme, rosemary, sumac, and a little bit of salt makes it taste pretty good. I was also obsessed with eating pumpkin soup. I would just blend up my own pumpkin in a food processor and mix it with a little bit of olive oil and some other stuff. I'll post a recipe later, but that was like a very wholesome meal for me when I first had flare-ups. Most white fish is pretty safe for gastritis. I started eating salmon a little bit later on just because it's quite high fat and it can be harder to digest. So start with the white fish, work your way up to salmon, and see how your body responds to that. For sides, any sort of steamed vegetable, also sweet potato has been a go-to for me. And if you have a sweet tooth, I have a recipe on here for flourless carob brownies, so definitely try that if you're craving something sweet. This is not a fully comprehensive meal plan. These are just some really good recipes that I tried when I was healing, and I will be publishing a cookbook very soon, so I'm just putting the final pieces on that and I will share it with you guys when it's ready. But yeah, that's kind of it. Once you get past the 2-month mark of being pretty restrictive with your diet, it's all about slowly adding new things, seeing how your body responds to it. I'm not saying going binge drinking after you hit the 2-month mark. Just slowly start increasing the food quantity and the food variety just to see kind of how you can handle it.